Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? What's the haps? Another Wednesday.
Another Wednesday. This airs on the 31st.
End of July. We're heading into August.
It's Mike's birthday. 31st.
It's his birthday today?
It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday.
What do you do for him on his birthday?
Well, we're going to dinner.
Okay. City or suburb?
City tonight, and then
City night.
and then another dinner the weekend after.
Who's the dinner with? Is it just you two? Is there a group
Just
dinner?
us.
Both times.
Just us, both times.
Both times.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Well,
we can get dinner together, just the two of us.
Well, it's funny.
On his birthday.
It's funny because we're the same age, so we're both turning 35 in the next 2 months. But his birthday is first, so I think he's kind of lucky because I have to set the precedent for.
Right, he gets to walk
Right.
in your your footsteps, so to speak.
Exactly. So if I did something big, he would then feel more pressure to do something big for me.
So you get to set the tone for the year.
Yes.
Which is really fun. 35, not a big. Is that big to you?
I mean, it's fun. Like there's like the increments of 5 seem like they're bigger, but it doesn't. I feel like it's like the only. I think the only increments of 5 that really matter are like 25. Is like it.
Here's what you should get him.
Right.
You know what you should get him?
What should I get him?
This just hit me. You should go to Economy Candy with him and let him just get whatever he
nuts.
wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kid in a candy store. He's a big candy guy.
Get some
and
diabetes.
That's like, right. Well, that's like the candy place on the Lower East Side. It's like kind of like, it has this cool look. It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Maybe we'll go.
Yeah. After
What's it
dinner.
called?
It's called Economy Candy. Look it up. Plug City.
They'll do blindfold.
Right. And
Be
here
like
you
Charlie
go.
and the Chocolate Factory.
And give him a 50. Whatever you want.
Wow.
There you go. How fun is that?
You'd probably fucking love that. Yeah.
Right? That's a good gift. Look at how thoughtful I am.
That's so thoughtful. I was just going to take him to dinner.
I'm going to give it to him.
Oh, wow. That
Right,
does
it's
look
like a
wild.
candy wonderland. Like it is like a candy lover's dream.
That's all the sugar you're getting for the summer.
Can you imagine at the end of dinner, I'm like, okay, I'm here. Time for me to give you your gift, and I take him off to get candy.
It'd be so funny. You're the hero.
Yeah. I know.
our son,
maybe I'm the
Michael.
secret hero. Do this for him. Where are you
Yeah.
going to dinner? Do you have any?
We're going to Jeju. Do you know that place?
I
Right
know
by you.
Jeju.
Right by
That's
you.
down the street from me.
Yeah.
That place.
Big ramen people. We are.
If you're a big ramen
Yeah.
place, that's like the ramen
Yeah.
spot.
I'm excited.
Beautiful restaurant.
Yeah, he
They
loves
keep it covered up. It's all like the curtains are drawn all the time.
They do not let you in there without a reservation. It's crazy.
No, they do not. And I've actually gone in there. I made the reservation and then like walked in 5 seconds. Like I made it on my phone as I was
Right.
walking in just because it's hard to get into, but I must have hit it at the right spot.
Right.
And that's a delicious ramen.
It's very good.
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I think it's a Michelin star.
Right.
Thing.
It's
Yeah.
a high end. So what's the second dinner?
The second dinner is.
You can wait. Hold on. Before you go, I'm sorry to interrupt. You can go from there to Economy Candy.
Yeah.
It's
we're gonna have
not
a
that
night.
far. Nice little
It's
walk.
gonna be instead of blacking out, we're gonna go to Economy Candy.
Or you go to Employees Only for a sexy drink. We all went there once.
That's great. Love that. Yeah,
Look,
we
I'm
did.
planning out your night.
The 3 of us. Wow. Actually, you should be a.
I'm-
you should be a date concierge.
Listen. I've
Right?
planned.
You talked about planning bachelorette parties,
And
which
then
I don't
someone
think you've
stole my
never
gig.
really. Yeah, and then Avery Singer stole your gig.
Every singer heard me talk about it.
She was like, "That's a good
That's
idea.
my business
I'm gonna
now."
use that, but I have more connections than you,
Right.
so I'm gonna take it off the ground."
I'm gonna take this and run.
Yes.
Yeah. With people with time and money will do. So
Exactly.
thanks, Ramona. So
Someone's got to keep this family afloat.
right.
So yeah, you could be a date concierge. That was all much better than the
I
ideas
could
that
plan.
I had.
I am a very good day planner when it doesn't come to me.
When you've had girlfriends and it's been their birthdays, do you do it up for their birthdays?
It's
more fun to do for other people.
Right. I'm an ideas guy, not a very big, put into. No, I'm trying to think back if I've ever like done it up. I think you know what sometimes I think I have a lot of good ideas I think that I've brought up, and then that's we should. I've been that
Right.
guy.
We should, but you never do it. We should get married.
Right.
To separate people.
So what's the second night?
The second night is this place by our house. It's like out. It's on the water.
Ooh.
It's a steakhouse on the water.
Steakhouse on the water.
Mike loves steak and being on the water. So
I like Mike's likes.
Yeah.
Mike is
very all-American.
He
I
is
think.
all-American.
He is, yeah.
And he also, no, but these are things, this is why I'd be good to plan stuff for him.
You would make the perfect wife for Mike.
Well, I understand a man who has simple taste, and not to say simple as in dumb. I like my candy. I like my steak.
Yeah.
I like my water. Those three ingredients, I will make a perfect birthday.
Yeah.
So steak on the water,
Right,
that's great.
Yeah, no, it's great.
What's the name of the place?
It's called Prime.
Prime.
In Huntington.
Love it. In Huntington, I did a show there. You were there.
Yeah.
Cool area. Fun town.
Great area. Yeah.
There's like live music every night. There's a happening going on in Huntington.
Exactly. And it's like there's like parts of it. So that's Huntington Village where you were at. And there's Huntington Bay, which is like on the water.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool because there's sort of like, there's a town, but then there's like a scenic water thing. It's like really nice.
There's a lot of places I travel to throughout the country. And if you're in Milwaukee, thank you so much. Had a great time. Even with the travel crap that was going on last week.
Your boy Delta.
We talked about it on benefits.
Tough time.
Tough time for my friend Delta. They're going through it.
Yeah. Are you still a loyal fan?
I
don't
loyal
think you've ever been more loyal and committed
to
anything other than Delta.
No, I that's my number one relationship.
Like they could
Delta than iPhone.
What would it take for you to break up? For you to break up with Delta?
It took them canceling my flight to Milwaukee at 9 a.m. And then I spent the rest of the day trying to get to Milwaukee. Took a United flight. Had to spend like a lot of money, to get there so that I would make the show. United.
It's not your fault you cheated. They wouldn't. You needed to get it somewhere.
Right. That's right. Delta wouldn't fuck me, so I had to go elsewhere.
Yeah, to go find,
get off.
You have needs.
I got needs. I got to get to Milwaukee. That's right. No, it would take a lot because you
built you have a lot invested in this relationship, a lot of points.
A lot of
points.
Built
a family
well,
together.
They say, right. The credit cards. We're gonna switch cards. Yeah.
Right. You want to have every other weekend.
Right. Well, then I flew United first class. I was like, you get judgy. Ooh, look how they do things here.
Right. It's like your mistress.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
she did things
United.
with you that you've never done before.
Right. United. Ooh, look at these snacks.
Did it feel wrong?
It felt a little wrong. The snacks are better on United.
Yeah. Wow.
I hate to admit that.
Okay.
I should be the snack czar for Delta. What are they doing?
Yeah.
You know what I hate about the Delta snacks? Let's switch it up.
What do they have? Those stupid fucking Biscoff cookies?
They got the Biscoff. Let's not call them stupid fucking.
I hate those. I'm sorry.
I like a Biscoff every now and again. Okay.
It's not my thing. I always.
It's a specific taste. I think it's it's cinnamon. It's okay. The Biscoff they have, but in the basket they never switch it up.
But pop chips.
The one thing they have, I will say, these gummy bears are the best I've ever had. The Vigo bears.
Plug City.
I hate that they're vegan.
Why?
I just don't.
You love them.
I love
just embrace
them.
it.
Well, I just don't want
kosher.
Right. I just don't want someone being like, and they're vegan. Let me enjoy my fucking gummy bears that are good without being vegan.
That's such a man thing. Mike's like that too. He finds out something is like too healthily packaged. He's like turned off by it. I'm like, that's a good thing.
No, I don't need that.
He's
to
like, no
something.
GMOs. Fuck that.
Right. I want more GMOs.
I want more genetically modified foods. Like, it's like, I don't want that bullshit girl stuff.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's all marketing. It's not like, it's like, oh, this water has no calories in it. It's like, I know what water is. It's all like, the Vigo bears are delicious, but that's the newest snack they've got.
I once tried to trick Mike into eating like the pasta made out of vegetables. It was like the chicken.
Oh, see, this is the thing that I get. Bonza.
It was like Bonza, like one of those other ones. It was like made out of zucchini pasta shit, whatever.
It's slimy a little bit.
Yeah, he figured it out, That's what.
I'm not anti-vegan.
Okay.
I'm just, I just don't like when it's like patting itself on the back. I think Mike and I are aligned
aligned
there.
in that, yeah.
So
Performative. It's too performative for you.
yeah, I don't like performative. That's my. I agree with that. So, so that's what's go. What were we even talking about?
I did want to talk about. You watched Vanderpump Rules.
I watched episode 1 of season 10.
Oh, just one episode.
Just one. Because I was stuck at the airport, and then I kind of like. I was like, I've had enough of these idiots.
You've had enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're all. Half of that show is just them saying hello to one another at events.
Well, it's the premiere. Everyone has to say. They haven't seen each other since the last season.
Since last season?
Yes.
Hey, oh, hey. I get why anyone would watch any show, not to like yuck someone's yum. But they all just, I don't know, they're LA
reality TV people who are now famous and rich from it. So it's a specific brand of person.
Right. And I don't know. I just watched Tom and Tom start their business, and I'm like, who would ever give them money?
People who know that they have a large Instagram following.
Right. But they're like fixing
Idiots,
up this restaurant.
like Dumb and
I'm
Dumber.
like, it really did feel like I was watching the 2 dumbest people ever on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is never like, and you're doing the restaurant industry, the hardest industry in the world.
Well, they have Lisa Vanderpump. She knows what she's doing.
And Lisa shouldn't be there.
No. Well, she was more important on the earlier episodes when they actually worked at her restaurant.
Right. It does feel like a little bit like the cool mom trying to talk to the kids.
Right.
Like when she sat, there's one scene in the opening episode of season, and I'm watching season 10 because I want to get to Scandival. So I want to like know what's going on here. I want the context. So Lisa Vanderpump, like someone said something along the lines of like, I like when a guy like comes in my face, and Lisa's like, ooh, and I'm like, I don't know. This
Love
all
it,
feels
darling.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sorry to be a.
All right. So you're not into.
I'm gonna try. I gotta watch this season because
It is an acquired. You need like a few episodes.
Right.
I told you to start at the beginning. I don't think you're gonna do that.
No. This is the beginning for me.
Okay.
Are you gonna watch Love Island?
I feel like we got to. Everyone just keeps saying that it's like such a big thing. It's
How do you feel about these shows when someone's like, you gotta watch it? Like, I don't.
Well, I do feel like this is our industry. Like we do dating, right? Like we should.
I do feel a little bit whenever someone's like, you gotta like yell at Love Island. I'm like,
I feel like I'm out of the loop a little bit.
Out of the loop, and I'm like, am I missing out on like the gold rush? Like, am I missing out on something that would be like a huge thing for me?
Well, how do you feel about The Bachelor? Do you feel like that's in its prime?
No, I don't think it's in its prime. Not to speak ill against my own podcast that I have on your network.
No, but I mean, like I'm just talking about in the context of like reality dating shows.
I just like the show and I like yelling at it. I like what I do with the show.
Right.
So when someone's like, I hate The Bachelor, I'm like, well, I do something that I enjoy doing and I make fun of it and it's fun to make fun.
Right. Well, they're like, make fun of this other show.
And then I'm like, I just don't know how I would like plot myself in. I like if someone all of a sudden just did one episode of The Bachelor, like the same exact thing I do, I'd be like, get out of here. Right. I'd be a little annoyed.
It's my thing.
Yeah, like you got to do the same thing I'm doing. Like,
right.
So and it came from like a natural, like I was tweeting about it, then I was like yelling at rom-coms, and then I was like, oh, put them together.
Just yell.
Right.
Yeah.
So
use those vocal cords.
Maybe I'll do. I'm gonna try for episode 1.
I'll
do
try
the
it as well.
Yeah, let's try.
Yes.
So that's our.
I feel like if everyone loves it, it must be.
It's got to be good.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Today, do you have any? Where are you going? Anywhere?
Okay, so actually, this weekend I am in Atlantic City and Newark, my favorite place, New Jersey.
Wow, double shot of New Jersey.
I forgot Atlantic City was Jersey. New
Jersey. You don't have to go on a plane?
No planes. I haven't flown at this point for 2 weeks. It's great. So New Jersey, come. Atlantic City's got tickets left. Newark might be sold out by now. And then I got some other dates. I'm going to be Sacramento and Cleveland and Indianapolis and Austin, Raleigh, Rochester is on my calendar, St. Louis, Batavia in Illinois. Everyone's like, go to Chicago. Why Batavia? I get booked where I get booked. I also just did Chicago in a theater, and I'm going to tape. So we're talking about taping this new material, and I'm going to tape it. And when you tape a special, you're at 0 again. Not to get you too hyped about these shows, but
you have no material anymore.
I have no material.
Yeah.
I probably have 15 minutes of stuff beyond. That's a loose 15.
Right.
But you know, if someone's taped a special, you're like, okay, what are we going to talk about now? What do I care about? And what are the news stories? I have something I kind of want to talk about, but I'm not sure what it is.
Politics?
Yeah, I'm going to go full. It's election season, so what else would I talk about?
Why not?
Right? No, I have a thing about, I've been thinking a lot about getting turned down.
Okay.
That's kind of my next subject.
Do you get turned down?
Yeah, all the time.
Really? Like
And
dating or in like career?
Dating.
Okay.
Approaching women.
Do you get turned down all the
Confidence.
time?
Do I get turned down all the time?
You said I get turned down all the time.
I've been turned down many times.
Okay. But you don't get turned down
I'm
all
a big
the
fucking
time.
loser. No, I think that's the interesting thing. We live in a time, the dating apps make it so you never get turned down.
Right.
If you think about it. Like, when you don't get a match, you don't think like,
You
well,
don't know,
they saw you and were like, ew.
Right. Well, you only see the people who swiped on you.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So you only see your successes.
I like it.
I think there's something interesting to the, and like, I just was thinking about like, I have this story about going abroad and talking to these women and it didn't work out. And I'm like, okay, in the same way I had the other story that I've been telling now, I'm like, maybe I could do that again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to.
I think there's something there.
Something there.
Yeah.
So so when I go to like a Batavia, I'm gonna be a lot looser because the hope is that you do the live shows to get to the special. You do the live shows to perfect something so that you can make a special, make a piece, and then it goes out, and then more people want to come to your next making of the piece. So, and that's what a stand-up comedian does. There's a lot of people that are like entering into the stand-up world that like co-opt it that like don't do that.
Right.
And that's why
Posers.
there's a lot of shitty shows out there.
Yeah.
So,
but your show is not shitty.
Buyer
It's
beware.
Very, very good.
So yeah, what are we talking about?
$500 soon. Dr. Naomi says.
March to 500.
All right, today I'll read our email.
Please.
Hi, J&J. First time writing into you up. I love the show. Love the Luxury Lounge. Feather, feather for you, Jared.
Thank you for touching my nuts.
I love the Luxury Lounge, too. I mean, is there any better place on the internet?
No,
than the
built it
Luxury
with my
Lounge?
bare hands. The Luxury Lounge is the place for all your first world complaints. The J Train podcast.
Safest place on the internet.
There is not one complaint I have ever disagreed with.
There you go. Let's get into it. I'm looking for tips on how to avoid being a passive, shy, mysterious dater. I'm a late 20s.
Mysterious. Ooh, who's this? Is that the Count of Monte Cristo?
So mysterious.
Yeah.
I'm a late 20s male and I'm still having issues with making it known with the girls that I date that I like them and I'm interested in them. I don't struggle with getting dates, but I do worry about coming across too strong and being pushy on the dates and making my intentions known. I'm not sure why, but I just get nervous about letting a girl know I like her. Irrational when I'm on a dating app. Additionally, unless I am like 90% certain that a girl likes me, I will probably not make a move or do something that shows that I like them. I know, it's not ideal, but I'm trying to work on it. It's happened at least 4 times now in the past where the girl I'm seeing will say something along the lines of, "Do you even like me? I can't tell if you like me. I can't read you at all. You're mysterious." Legit, this happened to me on my last date a couple days ago. We kissed after she said that, though. And so I'd like to change my dating behaviors and be more open. As much as I revel in being mysterious, I'm also getting annoyed by it. I want to be more confident with my intentions. My question, what are some good green flag ways to show a girl that you're interested in them without it being overwhelming or pushy? I feel silly to ask, but how do I be more vulnerable with my dates? Thanks for all you do. Sincerely, a do you even like me, dude?
I love this email. Let me start with a hug. Great email.
You only hug the male writers in.
Really?
Yes.
Am I mean to the female? Am I a misogynist?
No.
No,
Is
this the episode I find out?
No, not at all. But I do feel
Is this an
like
intervention?
I feel like you're like you're more like coddly to the men.
Well, because I you know why
you relate. I get it.
I
Yeah.
relate.
Yeah.
One is because I relate, and yeah, I'll agree with you. Yeah, I think, and it's kind of
you're
what,
here to defend the indefensible, I guess.
right. And to me, this is the most defensible. This
Okay.
is the most average email we've ever gotten. That's why I was starting with a hug. I don't mean to sound mean. This is the most
nice.
average, run-of-the-mill email. This is why I love doing this show.
Right.
I relate to this average Joe because I am an average Joe. Oh, I only kiss girls when I'm 90% sure they like me. Welcome to the fucking club, dude.
Okay.
You know,
so
like,
that's like a common thing.
well, you know, this.
If you're not a creep.
Well, this email got me thinking about like who is talked about on the internet. Like
Right.
we talk about being seen and having our, your people seen a lot these days with, I want to see my version in a position of power, in a position of, women want to see women CEOs, and you want to be seen. This guy doesn't really see himself on the internet as a dater.
Okay.
Because it's either, what's the guy's name? The douchebag.
Which one? said the whole
guy,
room collectively.
Right, the bald guy, Andrew Tate. It's either like Andrew Tate, alpha male garbage.
Right.
Or it's Jet, who agrees with everything a woman says.
Yes.
And she's the queen of my universe. And the only version of this guy on the internet is made fun of. He's just some accountant who gave a woman the ick because she wasn't into him. And I think this guy's just a punchline on the internet. And this is kind of like, I do think, and I'm not saying other people don't have their problems. I'm kind of weather reporting right now. Because like I was reading this and I was like, man, this guy, he's in this 2024 world of like, and you can hear it in his email. If you go back and listen to his words, this idea of like, the only thing he wants to make a move. He doesn't want to be too much.
He doesn't want to get rejected either.
He doesn't want to get rejected. He's a little insecure, but he's still a guy who is a little confident enough to go on dates. He says he gets matches.
Right.
I have no problem getting a date, but I'm now this mysterious guy. These women are basically saying, tell me you like me so that I can have permission to like you too. Why aren't you, where do you stand so that I know where I can stand? So a lot of pressure's being put on him as far as like, come out with your feelings so I can have feelings. And we've talked about this on this podcast.
Well, I think a lot of women want to be chased. And so they're like, if they're not not going to be vulnerable with you, if I'm not even sure if you're into me.
Right. Yeah. But then what you hear is like, and then you end it and it's like, but you said you liked me.
Right.
Why would you tell me you liked me if you're going to end it? Well, I don't like you anymore.
Why would you tell me you liked me?
Right. Well, this is the plight of average Joe.
Sure.
And I wrote like a bunch of stuff down because I was just like, I just think it's so interesting.
Well, can I say that even to ungender it,
right.
I felt like I've been this guy when I was dating.
Right. How do I show that I like?
I feel like I would get that feedback a lot. I'm not really, you're not really sure like where like how you feel about me. Like you don't text me that much, or like, are you, you know what I mean? Do you even like me? Are you like more standoffish? And I think I had a problem with like he calls it vulnerability, which I like because not everyone would call it that.
Right.
He said, how do I be more vulnerable on dates? And that's what it is, to show someone before they show you that you're into them, or to make a move is a vulnerable thing. You're putting yourself out there.
It's hard, and you kind of have to wrestle with the fact maybe I don't like them that much. Maybe I'm just enjoying my time with another person that's not really like a relationship match for me, that I don't care enough to take that risk. I do think Darwinism is at play in a lot of these things.
Sure.
I do think when someone is on it, when you're on a date with someone and you really like them, you do push for the next, thing. He says 90% of the time. There's that 10%. You're not 90% of the time. You're not going to like everyone. Like I think I think it's more likely to not like the person you're on a date with as a romantic match 90% of the time than it is to be not.
Well, I think that's part of it. I think it's kind of like that in all things in dating. It's like I want to improve my dating life. So do I try to make myself a different person than I am to do it, if that will make me do better in this thing? And I remember, I think I told you about this when or like a while ago. It was like when I was dating, my therapist had recommended that I also put myself out there more, that I like make a move more on people. And you said like, I think that's a bad idea. I think you should be who you are.
Right. Well, you've told that advice to me.
Right. Well, it's like I'm thinking it's hard to know. Like, should I try in a certain way? Should I put myself out there, or should I be who I am, and the bright person will naturally fall into whatever my real personality is?
It's very difficult. And I guess you have to assess, like, do you like this person to embarrass yourself?
Right.
Like, and I think me as a single guy, I deal with that a lot. Like, especially I'm on Hinge now, and I'm looking at these profiles, and I'm like, am I having enough fun here to like make a date?
Right.
and you go, and I'm like, if I'm doing, maybe that's a no.
Right.
You know, and I'm trying.
But that's, I feel like, more common on a dating app than when you're actually going out with people. I feel like you have a better sense of.
I guess my question to the emailer would be like, is he knowingly being mysterious? He says he's reveling in being mysterious, which I don't even know what that means. Like,
well, he's reveling in not getting rejected.
right.
That feels nice. It feels it's safe. It feels like it's, and then you kind of like elevate yourself. Like, oh, I'm like harder to get.
Right. But I guess because he's being asked, how do you feel?
Right.
And then he's going, I guess I don't show how I feel. Or is he missing out on, is someone like, hey, I didn't text you back because I thought you weren't interested? That would be different to me.
Right. Well, he's saying, you know, he's getting a lot of the same questions. Are you interested in me? I can't tell if you like me. I can't read you at all.
Right.
I can't read you at all is a little something to note.
Something to know. Well, then what would you want on a date to read someone?
Right. I can understand why, as a woman going on a date with a guy and I have no sense if he's interested in me, but he keeps asking me out, would be a little weird.
Well,
it's like making a move is hot because you're like, one, it takes confidence. I think men are worried about how to come off confident but not creepy. That's
that's the other thing. Well, that's what's made fun of online.
But to me,
no woman is ever made fun of for taking a shot on a date.
To me, the difference between like someone who's worried about being creepy is never going to be creepy.
Right.
People who are creepy are not thinking that they're creepy.
I don't think he's as worried about being creepy as he's worried about being made fun of.
Really? On like the internet?
Not on the internet, but like
I think maybe the internet is like scaring men because I don't think most women are. What you're seeing is like the worst people.
Sure.
Always online.
I'm not one to be like men are afraid. I don't believe that they are. I do think in this scenario where he's like, do I make a move? Do I not? If you've heard, oh my God, he ties his shoes bunny ear style. What a loser.
But they're saying most women are just saying that behind your back.
Right. Well, well, now it's kind of like me hearing these emails. I know now I know too much, you know, that it kind of makes me hold back or act a little bit differently or act maybe more ahead than I would or think ahead. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's in his head that way. But I think like I wrote down 2 things that he should do.
Let's hear it.
Ask more questions. Okay. And answer questions honestly.
Okay. You know, be more yourself.
Be more yourself. Right. Dig into yourself. Honesty is vulnerability. You know, these are all like diet and exercise answers. I'm not a genius.
Totally.
Travel.
Go to a different bar.
Go to a different bar. Hey, want to do one more somewhere else? End early at the first bar to go to a second bar. And now you're inviting them to something else. And you're showing I want to continue the night. Whereas at one bar or at one coffee shop, let's make it not alcoholic, one walk, hey, instead of just this walk, want to go for ice cream too? Extend. Mm-hmm. Change the scenery. And then that is a show of I want more from you.
Right. The way the other person is reacting to that will also tell you
how they feel.
And then I would add part 3, if 1 and 2 go well, part 3 is touch someone's lower back.
Right.
Put your hand on their leg.
We're on the same
I think the way
page.
that someone's body, like I wouldn't say just go in and make out with someone, but I would start with that. See how reading a person's body language is like a big part of dating. Mm-hmm. If you put your hand on someone's knee and then they move away, they're not like.
I mean, I'll embarrass myself right now. I was at a bar with a girl recently.
Yeah.
And we traveled.
Okay.
I did exactly this.
Okay.
We're at the first bar.
You asked questions. You were yourself.
Asked questions. Was myself. Opened up. Mentioned something from their social media that I noticed.
Okay.
So taking an interest.
Little vulnerability, I've seen you.
Hey, I gotta wonder. I saw this one thing.
Okay.
Is that the last person you dated? Get a little more personal.
Sure.
These are all things I did, but without. It wasn't like this plan.
Right.
But
you're a great first date, as we found out from.
Some would say.
We literally found out from the person you went out with for this show that you were a great first date.
So we're talking. I took notice of something that they didn't present to me. Like I did. Oh, I've revealed that I've searched them out to see this extra information.
Right. Well, I like that
little vulnerability. And then went to another bar, and when we were laughing, I just touched the knee, but pressed a little bit on it.
Then you took it off?
Took it off.
You did like I'm
laughing.
Like you're doing it to get up?
Right. Yeah. I basically used them like a banister. Yeah. But I put some pressure on the knee while laughing. Not an act. Okay, that's good. But it was a thought, I'll touch. I want to touch.
Right.
And that, I really did think pushed things a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a nudge.
Yeah.
And
that's a great way to, I think, let someone know that you're interested.
Right.
Because you wouldn't do that if you weren't.
Wouldn't do that to my mom.
Well, that's the
thing. You're hilarious, Kim.
Or on a bad date. You wouldn't do that. Yeah.
I would be out of there. I wouldn't go to the second location.
Right. Yeah.
Again.
I think that's great. A little, and it creates like a physical chemical thing.
I'm assertive, but I'm also caring.
Right.
It's that was my move.
Right. And to me, that's not creepy at all.
I didn't think so.
If that's a fear of his.
But this is the thing. You got to be laughing at something to do the knee touch.
Right.
So the conversation has to be good enough to make you laugh.
Yeah, you got to be able to pull it off.
Right. You got to pull it off. Not everyone can, not everyone's the J train.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember when dating, it'd be like, if you were into, you'd touch I'd touch someone's shoulder, like in that same kind of laughy way.
And also, let's be less hard on ourselves. Not every date's going to end in a knee touch.
Right. Well,
I think that's okay to you have to be okay with
1
that.
and 2.
Right. That's why you go, oh, I noticed this one thing about your, you posted on Instagram. If you don't have that information, there's got to be other information that you've gotten from the date.
Find their social security number. I've noticed your social security number is 065.
Or even. So the meds you pick up every Tuesday. Tell me. No, I think there's other questions that I do think this is where like asking about past relationships, asking about like why, why are you still single?
Yeah.
It's I don't think why are you still single is a good question, but like what was the last relationship like? How did that end? And you haven't been in a relationship yet? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Great question.
How do you feel about that? Feels a little judgy.
How
do you feel about that?
I would feel, I would be ready to be like.
Depends how it's said.
How do I feel? Doesn't matter to me, but I know some people feel like self-conscious about that.
If someone said, "How do you feel about that?" I would feel like I should be a little bit ashamed of it. Maybe depends how.
No,
it was
it
asked.
depends how it's right. I guess the way I'm imagining it.
Where do you live?
Judgy.
I live in Hoboken. How do you feel about that? Doesn't it sound a little judgy?
Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, we live and learn.
How would you say? How do you feel about that?
So when was how did the last relationship end?
Well, I'm divorced. I dated for 5 years, got married, didn't work out.
How are you feeling about that?
That's not bad.
Right?
Okay.
How you feeling about divorce? Like, how's dating been with divorce?
Right.
Like that'd be my next question. How's dating been as a divorce woman?
I think that's a
right. I think this is where like taking an improv class is very helpful for people.
I think body language is like in the way the tone is very important for that. Like again, it's not like
you haven't dated in 5 years. Like I didn't go 5 years.
How do you feel about that?
Right.
Right.
You divorced 5 years.
Ugh.
Tick tick. No, that's not what how's dating been since the divorce?
Right.
How's it dealing with someone? Do you ever hear from him again? How do you feel? Yeah, right. How are you feeling? I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that is different than how you feel. How you feeling is probably a better question.
Right.
I don't know. This is all to say
improv.
Questions that are personal. If you're going on the date, how was work today? Okay, that's how the date starts. Oh, I had an okay day. I'm pretty tired from the weekend. What'd you do this weekend? I can understand how the date goes. Okay. You got to get personal.
Right.
Because personal shows you care.
And it also just creates a deeper conversation.
Right.
So
and sometimes people don't give to that. And that's when you get to say, I guess they're not up for the same type of intimacy that I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah, here's the thing. The first date is all about judging someone.
Right.
You're about you judging them and them judging you. That's the point of it, is to judge each other and decide if your judgment has created a opportunity for date number 2.
There it is. Boom. Let's do some awkward encounters.
Encounters.
UUP@Betches.com. Send them in. UUP@Betches.com. Hi, J&J. Longtime listener and benefits subscriber. Thank you. You make me laugh out loud every week. I wanted to share one of my most memorable dating stories, which definitely falls under the category of an awkward encounter. I met a guy on Hinge. He walked into the bar. My first thought was that he looked a little older than advertised. Oh, hello.
You used my knee to get up.
These bar chairs are too tall.
You had a hip replacement?
Freezing in here. Hi, I'm 23.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Right. His profile said he was 40, and I was 35. I naively said, oh, maybe he used... I naively was like, oh, maybe he used to party a lot, so he looks kind of weathered now.
Wow.
Can you imagine that's the assessment of you?
If someone assessed me like that, that would be really, really hurtful. She looks like, she said she was 30,
Right.
She said she was 35, but she said she was 30. She looks kind of 35. She partied too much.
Jordana, nice to meet you. How do you...
Washed up party girl.
Going a little hard, huh?
Right.
You seem to enjoy Arizona State.
Candace's alum.
Candace's school of choice. And we ended up having some nice conversations that night. Here's the thing about you women is that she's like, he looked a little older. I guess he's a little weathered. Then we had a nice time. I would never say that, but would you ever say that like at the wedding? I thought he was a lot older.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
You
couldn't say that.
No. When she walked in, I said, who's that weathered hag?
I said, whose mom is that?
We met up for a second time several days later for live music. Beforehand, we were having a drink. He asked if I'd ever wanted children. I said I'd been on the fence and asked how he felt about it. He then revealed he had a daughter. I asked how old. He said she was 17. Doing the math in my head, I said, so you were about 23 when she was born? And he answered, actually, I'm a little older than it says in my profile.
Oh my God.
Surprise, surprise. It turned out he was 48, not 40.
That's a 20% difference in age.
It's a big jump.
20%. It's a lot.
I'm seeing that lying is on these apps since a year ago is up for men. Like on my side. I know men, height, age for years.
Okay.
We've been doing. The women are I'm getting a lot of people saying that they live in different places than they actually live.
Wow.
And
hood fishing.
A lot of hood fishing out there.
Yeah.
And I had one woman, she was like, I'm at a winery. I'm like, oh, that's cool. How long are you out east for? Mm-hmm. Just the day. I'm like, oh, that's cool. How are you going to get back? Now I'm worried about her safety. She's like, well, I actually live on Long Island. I'm like,
what did her profile say?
Manhattan.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, I'm there all the time, which is always the female thing. I had another woman that said, said Soho, and she says, I live in LA. I forgot to change it back when I got back to LA.
Interesting.
What I've noticed about women,
let
me tell you women what you guys
tell
do.
us what we are. Explain women to me.
They don't have any...
men do this too, clearly.
Clearly, but there's no... I guess the way men lie and the way women lie on these apps is different.
Okay.
To me, this is my thought. So? This is my off the top of my head thought. The men lie to get in the room with you.
Right.
Once you get to know me...
Well, isn't that what the woman's doing too?
Well, the lie, to me, of where they live when they live across the country is like, I can't believe they're just like, oh, I'll just move across the country and I'll just be with this person if we fall in love.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no thought of like upending a whole life.
Well, we are all the rom-coms have taught us that if it works, we'll figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
there's
no mathematical.
All.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess the
men are
male thing
lying
is like,
so you'll have sex with them.
What's that?
Men are lying so you'll have sex with them.
Right. Men are lying because we'll wait till you see me. I'm the best.
Okay.
And it feels like women are lying like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, like do you know what I mean? I know they're similar but different. It feels different.
I think both are bad ideas. Bad idea to lie.
The minute the town is different than who I thought I was talking to, I am out.
Yeah. I would have been out here.
So it turned out he was 48, not 40. I was thrown by this. And then the concert started. Dun, 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 dun.
It's Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews gets going. So I spent the next hour and a half listening to music, half processing this new information about the age and the daughter. Also, to throw this on her as the date's beginning at a concert.
And also, he meant to. He started the conversation, so he wanted to. That was his plan to do it then.
Yeah,
he knew he lied.
It's fucked up.
He wanted. This was his way of telling her about the daughter.
Right. Deal with it.
Right.
Now, let's watch Incubus. Later, we took the train back to the station near my neighborhood, and I was feeling awkward. He kissed me on the street corner and asked if he could come over. I said, not tonight. And then he leaned back and made this kind of growling noise. The bear has awoken, he said. Feeling thoroughly icked.
There's literally, like, if that's one of those things, if you're not into someone and then they say something like that, you're like, I need to reevaluate my entire life.
I don't even know what it means. The bear has awoken, so basically, like...
His penis is out, I guess. He has an erection. Is that not what that means?
The bear is awoke. Like, I don't even understand. Yeah, like, but I've all revved up.
You're right.
Like, he took what? He took his Viagra?
Yeah.
And so,
gross.
how could you do this to him?
No. He's so old.
Hey, can I come up?
No.
It is such a ridiculous thing to say when you have been turned down to fuck.
It's very 48, too, I feel like.
Right.
It makes you feel old, seem older.
This is the fear of any man. Age, penis, and money, not a good mix.
Yeah.
That's when you start growling and thinking that's a good idea.
Right. And that's just, I don't even know who that would work on. Maybe another 48-year-old woman. Maybe that was what they said back in his day.
Right. You have to say the bear is awoken as you're making out in the bed. That's the only way it makes sense.
Right. Not as a way to get someone to convince them to let you up.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's a way
What if she was expecting her to say, oh, well, if the bear is awake, then I guess come up.
Hibernation season is over.
That's what I'm saying.
I've run out of food that I put away in my cave.
Bad.
It's like almost like he's trying to make her feel bad for turning him down.
Yeah.
Oh, but the bear's awoken.
He's creepy. Talk about with the other guy. But the other guy needed to
needed
be
more
out there. More
right,
bears awoken.
More...
But that guy would never do this. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
This guy is probably terrified of. That's his worst fear is that he's the bear is awoken.
Right.
Creepy level, and he could never be that way because he's worried about being that. This guy is not worried about being creepy.
Right. No, you're right. But the pig has oinked.
No.
Feeling thoroughly icked, I said goodnight and went home. The next day, he texted me asking me out on another date, but I told him this wasn't the match for me. I didn't like that he lied about his age and didn't tell me about having a kid up front, but the bear comment really pushed it over the edge.
Fair.
Anyways, about a week after this, I went on a first date with the guy who became my boyfriend. So that was a lovely and unexpected turn of events after meeting a bear in the woods. Thanks for all the laughs and wise advice over the years. A bear escapee. Love this email.
Love it. I wouldn't have gone out with him if he lied about, because he clearly lied about the 40 versus 48 thing. He was like, my profile, I would have been like, well, why did you put 40 then?
Right. We get these emails all the time of like, oh, when should I say that I'm this, or when should I say that I have kids, or when should I say?
But that's different than this.
Well, this is him saying, I am not going to say this until I.
It's not like he left the age blank.
No. Right. Yeah. But I guess the kids thing more.
Right.
Is like he made a concerted effort to hide his age and also a kid.
Right.
And it's like, I couldn't trust that person after that. Like.
Yeah, that person is not confident. And that person is either like is trying to scam me.
And it's also like,
what else would they lie about to try to manipulate me?
Right. And also all of who you are is built on the basis of what I know.
Right.
That sounded like a poem. But like, if I had a great first date with someone, it's because of the things they revealed to me. Mm-hmm. It's because we were able to be vulnerable. Like,
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's
because I got to know the bear.
This guy isn't, I'm sure this guy isn't asking himself, asking questions and being his true self.
No.
He's just trying to have sex.
Let's do another email.
All right. Hi, J&J. I've been a listener since the beginning of the show, and I love insights that you two give. My boyfriend and I started dating in the beginning of 2023 and got pregnant a month later. We moved in together shortly after finding out about the pregnancy. We have 3 cats. Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Life comes at you fast,
3
bro.
3 cats and a beautiful 8-month-old. That's a lot of cats. Right before
It's a lot of 8 months. A lot of kid.
Yeah, for that short of a relationship.
Right.
Yeah. Right before we started dating, my boyfriend got into Christianity and is now very adamant about not having sex before marriage. We haven't had sex in over a year now, despite already having a child together. I was expecting for him to propose to me in May as it was my birthday, but while the gift he got me was very nice, he didn't propose, which led to a big disappointment. We are in our early 30s, and I don't know what's taking him all this time to marry me. We have an amazing relationship and never fight. Help. Virgin Mary, not by choice.
I'm going to disagree with this person that they have an amazing relationship.
You haven't had sex in a year and you have a kid?
I don't understand the timeline of events.
Okay, so they started dating. He starts to get into Christianity. Then, before he takes his vow of chastity, she gets pregnant.
I mean, I can't think of anything more.
I'm surprised she was like cool with that.
I'm surprised. I don't buy it. I mean, there's other.
I was thinking it was like a little weird. Like maybe he's trying to get out of the relationship
I'm a different person than who you
by
met.
not having sex with
and
him.
I don't want to be this is exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
I think this is like a long con.
This is a very long game.
Right. This guy's masturbating like
Be
crazy.
virgin for a year.
Right. Well, I do think that when something like this happens, you date a month, you have a baby together. Okay. You're like, holy shit, life has changed. Now you're like starting to date and get to know each other and you're realizing, shit, I'm like stuck in this. Like, what are we going to do?
I haven't heard the vow of chastity on the long list of, the way that men are playing.
Right. I haven't either in all my years.
The old vow of chastity.
Well, refusing sex is a way to like smoke someone out.
I guess he didn't anticipate she would be so cool with it. Right?
Good for you. Yeah. He's like, fuck.
So we're not having sex anymore until I propose. I have no plans to propose.
Well, she's like, well, I got this baby. He's got to propose sooner than later.
Well, if I were her, I would have been like, well, we have the baby, and if you don't want to have sex until we're married, let's get married like now. We already have the baby.
This was his way of saying instead of saying, I'm not sure if I want to marry you, he said,
I won't have sex until I'm married and I'm not ready to propose.
Right. I don't know. This all doesn't sound.
Something's weird.
So this ain't kosher.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's something off. I think and they're not talking about a lot. Like, I still don't understand the timeline of events because for her to say they started dating in the beginning of 2023 and got pregnant. We moved in together shortly after finding out about the pregnancy. We have 3 cats and a beautiful 8-month-old. Right before we started dating, my boyfriend got into Christianity.
I think he started getting into Christianity, but he didn't get to the level where he was deciding not to have sex before marriage.
Well, I guess the baby would make him go, I can't have sex again.
Look what happened last time.
Right. It might change your relationship with sex. I can understand that.
You could become more religious as you go on, and like there's more rules.
Okay, and the more you get into it, the more you're like, well,
right.
Now I'm not having sex until we're married.
Right, but then why not get married? You already have the kid. That seems like a bigger commitment.
I guess let's stick in the reality of this email.
Okay.
That we're talking to the emailer who's the one who wants sex. And marriage, which is like
two, I would say, reasonable expectations with the man that you move in and have 3 kids.
Right. I think she needs to have some open and honest conversations with him.
Yes.
And she's not doing that. And I think it's got to start. What do you start with? The sex or the marriage?
What's more important to her?
It sounds like they go hand in hand. The way she's presented it is like, I thought we were going to be proposed to. I was excited. And then that doesn't happen. And now I'm stuck here sexless.
I would start with I guess they do go hand in hand. It's hard to separate them. But I would say, like, we're married. We have a kid. We live together. Like, I do not like that we don't have sex.
Right.
And I see, I would like to marry you. I see us getting this for the long haul. And so if I'm not going to be having sex with my boyfriend, I would like to know when I'm going to be having sex with him. I think that's a reasonable expectation
Right.
in a relationship.
And
I don't think that's
let him, and then let him talk.
Yeah.
Because he's got to say something at that point.
Right. Do you think he's actually do you believe him that
I don't believe
he's got the vow of chastity?
I think that the life change rattled him.
I'm sure. I mean, it's quite shocking.
Like, I think maybe he was like, maybe I'll go to church every Sunday. And then, this great girl from Hinge, let's start dating. And then suddenly they have a baby.
Kid, yeah.
And he's like, he's
What do
almost
I do?
like, what the fuck?
And he probably thinks of himself as like a good Christian man who's not gonna. He probably doesn't want to end it also because he's this good Christian guy who got this woman pregnant, and if he's very into like being right by the religion, I would imagine.
I'm usually like really in tune with the email.
You can't relate to this
I can't relate to at all.
You haven't tried this one to get out of a relationship?
But the refusing sex for God.
I would try that one if I wanted to get out of my relationship.
That's the only reason I thought of that as the only thing that could be here, because that's like the only lie.
You really didn't want to break up with someone. You needed them to break up with you.
I just like, I've chosen God. Like, I don't.
It's also kind of like you have a kid. That ship has sailed. Sorry.
That ship what?
That ship has the chastity thing has. I don't know who you're fooling.
That's what's so bizarre. Like you were this person. I think he has a lot of regret about like having had a kid.
I'm sure. I mean,
and this is his way of like doing penance, literally. Right. Like,
yeah, I think this needs a lot deeper of a conversation than what's currently being had.
Right. And her writing in here, I'm happy she wrote in here. I'm happy she trusted us. But it's like, you got to have like a what's going on here conversation. It's not, and like, forget marriage, forget the sex. It's like, where's your head at, dude?
Right.
Like, we have a baby together. How do you see this working out? Yeah. And instead of like, because I think the sex and marriage thing, because when you make it, I guess the reason it's so unrelatable to me is like he has made making marriage a big deal. That's relatable. But then also having the sex thing is such a big deal. It's like he's created these two like fences.
Right.
That like if she brings up sex, now she's not godly. If she brings up marriage, she's kind of like only here for the marriage. She only wants a thing.
Right.
So she's
putting
kind
in a
of
lose-lose position here.
Right. She's in a fucked up position.
Right. Well, that's why if I were her, when he brought up this idea, because I'm sure there was some sort of he didn't just stop having sex with her. I'm sure he said, I don't want to have sex until we're married. My next question would be, well, when do you see us getting married?
Right.
Like, I don't understand how that conversation didn't happen when he said that. Like, if you were dating, maybe if you were dating someone and I said this to you, you'd probably break up with them. But if...
Well, I have to figure out what to do with the baby.
Well, if you're dating someone and they said that to you, that would be my next question. If I was dating someone and they said, I don't want to have sex until marriage, I'd say, well, when would you like to get married?
Right.
When do you see us getting married? How
and
long
then
until
you'd have to break at some point.
I feel like if he's not having sex till marriage, he's not masturbating either. That sounds unchristian as well, to be looking at porn.
Well, you better get rid of all the tissue paper in the house. Don't let this guy,
Find
towels.
Out, right?
He wants to dry out from the shower.
Wouldn't you imagine that porn would be off limits if you were the kind of person that wasn't having sex until marriage?
It didn't come up. I would assume that's the case. But the people that restrict the most are usually the porn guys. Maybe that's what's getting them by.
To me, that seems just like counterintuitive to the whole point of the exercise.
We don't know something.
Yes.
I think we don't know something.
Give us a follow-up once you confront him about this.
Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
Jared and Jordana, I listen to you every week. Thanks for everything you do. The other night at dinner, my boyfriend was telling me about how one of his former coworkers once told a table of people that he would rate his own wife a 6 out of 10.
Oof.
I asked my boyfriend what he would rate me, and he said 9 out of 10. I told him he should just lie and say 10 out of 10 because 9 out of 10 is offensive. He then said 10 out of 10 doesn't exist. Then why is the scale out of 10, sweetie? Why not just say a 10 out of 10 at that point? I told him men should know to lie at that type of question and say something like you're a 100 out of 10 or whatever. He told me he thought being honest was more important. Am I allowed to be mad? I know that it's my fault for asking, but do you think men should lie to be cute? Thank you. A 9 out of 10 bitch.
I do think men should lie to be cute if they're smart. If they're smart. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Like I try to bait Mike into this kind of fight all the time. I try to do that.
Okay.
All the time.
I hate this fight so much.
Yeah.
I think.
But like, there's one way to win. Well, there's one way to avoid it. 11 out of 10.
So you just want to be lied to.
It's asked in like a flirty way. It's not like I don't really want you to fucking rate me on a scale of 1 to 10. What am I, a monster? What are you, a monster? Bless you.
Thank you. Well, that's the thing. They're talking about a monster. He's admitting this is like such a horrific thing that his coworkers said.
Yeah.
So to then go, well, what am I? Is like, I agree with you. This is not what we should be doing. Yeah. So then when he's like, okay, I'm not going to be like a bitch and go 10 out of 10. And he's like, I'm not going to be honest and be like, you're an 8.1. He's like, I'll go with 9 out of 10. Who could be mad at that?
If you're
and
gonna
then
lie,
she's mad.
If you're going to lie, go all the way. 15 out of 10.
I would go all the way even more. I'd be like, there's no one hotter in the entire world.
Yeah.
I think you should start modeling.
That's the
You don't think that would make her mad?
No,
a
I
hypothetical
think,
woman?
for me, unless she's like a real lunatic, I think that would be like, it would be like fun and flirty, and you would drop it after that.
I think you should start an OnlyFans.
I'm telling you, do this to my
Cash Me Outside girl makes $1 million a year. How about you start bringing in some dough with this OnlyFans guy? That's how hot I think you are, right? Why stop there? 10 out of 10, 11
let's
out of 10.
up the ante.
I don't know. This made me so annoyed.
No, she's annoying for asking, but I would be annoying for asking too. And I do think like it could be worse, but I kind of agree. He should have just said. It's like, who's your favorite kid? Like, she obviously has a favorite. She's gonna say
the one that passed away.
Oh my God. It got dark.
Sorry.
You lie. I love all my children equally.
I would say the other one. The one that doesn't ask stupid questions.
There you go.
That's what I would say. No, this is annoying. She's the red flag. I think. Well, also, can I make her feel better a little bit?
Now that you've called her the red flag.
Right. This brand of dude exists.
Do you think there's a 10 out of 10? Or
does
this not exist?
This isn't an original thing he's saying.
Okay.
I've heard there's many men out there who like kind of think it's funny or think it's like a personality trait to be like, there's no such thing as a 10 out of 10. No such thing as a 10 out of 10.
Improve.
And I think it's like a Portnoyism. I think it comes from the pizza review world. I think that's like kind of the mindset.
Okay.
Like if I'm to like paint a picture of this bro.
Sure.
This is very Barstool bro-ish where it's like, there's no such thing as a 10 out of 10. And it's like, I think that's bullshit. Like, what an unhappy life you lead.
Right.
To like never think anything is awesome.
She should make it about that.
Right.
Just insulting his whole personality.
Right. I should be her Cyrano in her ear. Tell him that his erection is a 7 out of 10.
Tell him he's a loser follower.
Yeah,
he's never going to be happy.
This is called,
you'll win the fight that way.
Right. This is Mad Libs. This is not his own personality. He's mimicking.
Yeah. I think they're both annoying. She's annoying for asking. He's annoying for not lying.
Yeah. Okay.
But don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
You deserve each other, losers.
Yes.
Let's do another one.
Hey, J&J, love the paddle, but I'll get right into it. I broke up with a very serious boyfriend of 3 years and 2 months later started dating someone else.
Good for you.
We dated for 4-ish months with him being quite insistent that he wants a girlfriend while I was not really ready to jump into another relationship. Ultimately, I ended up ending things due to the fact that I wasn't ready to date or emotionally available. Fast forward, and I happened to drunk text him after 3 months no contact, and we reconnected and started hanging out again. I realized I really did like him, and I was putting more effort in at the start because I was the reason things ended previously. He seemed excited and into it for about a month, but when things started to fizzle on his end, I asked him why. And he said he claims the cumulative toll and burnout of dating has put him in a different headspace. The cumulative toll, wow.
This guy found a thesaurus.
Yeah. And he's planned his summer as a single guy without putting anyone else into consideration. I've been planning my summer as a single guy. Under that
I got all these plans.
That's crazy. He also said it's not as exciting or motivating to put energy into it the second time around. That one I would cling to.
I think that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's a hurtful one, but it's a good one.
I actually believe that's the honest answer.
I have thoughts too. Yeah. Okay. He said he needed space to figure out if he can commit to dating me in order to be fair to me. He said he still likes me and likes hanging out with me, so it's not a compatibility thing. I haven't heard from him for a week now, and I'm wondering if he's mad at me for ending things previously or just not that into me. Should I be considering this a red flag or deal breaker, or should I see if he comes around? Thanks, a confused betch.
What do you think?
I think she thinks of like the two relationships or the two ways of dating is the same thing. And I don't think she realizes that the fact that she was actually one foot out of the relationship before is part of what attracted him to her.
Right. It was a scenario, not a person.
Right. That's who she was then. She was not looking for anything serious. She was not probably as into it, not as into making it serious.
Right. And we're not a podcast that like encourages people to play a game, but it is hotter to be a game to be played.
Right. It's convenient that he was looking for a relationship when she wasn't.
Right. And she was like a mountain to climb, and that's exciting.
Right.
And then it became less exciting for him the minute she came back at the old contract.
Yeah.
Where they're just fucking. And then she's like, whoa, I'll take the other contract you were offering. And he's like,
that one's off the table
I'm
now.
done with that. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think he doesn't like you. I don't think he's mad at you. I think he's just like, I don't know.
I think the way she was acting before was part of the reason that he wanted to lock it.
Right.
Seemingly wanting to lock it in.
The thing is with, I wish we could all be so confident to never want to date the person that wants to date us. Right. Like I wish I could give that to someone and let them drink it. But you can't fake that. So a lot of people try to fake that, and it's not real.
Right.
She was her honest self. I'm not there. I don't know. He seems nice, but whatever.
Just got out of this thing. I'm not really emotionally available.
Right. Yeah. And I know you want to date.
That's hot.
Yeah. Cool, girl. I can't hang this week. Maybe next week. No plans needed. Then you come back and you're like, what are we doing for dinner next week? And he's like, ugh.
That's why it's kind of a miracle when two people are just really fucking into each other at the same time and no one's turned off by anyone else being into it.
That's how hard it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why we should be not as hard on ourselves, just like that first guy. Like,
right. It takes two very secure people to be interested in someone that is extremely interested in them.
Right.
It does. I mean, like it's a
right. And this guy's insecure. She came back to him. He's like, I kind of saw the summer going a different way. I want to fuck a lot of women. I want to get like my,
Right. But I'll keep we could still keep hooking up.
Right. Because and again, when you drunk text someone, hey, let's get together, and then you're surprised that they're not the same they were before.
Well, she was like, he said he wanted to date me before. He should be thrilled. I'm like, this is his shot.
No, that was January. Different weather.
It's true.
January me was very cold, needed a cuddle. Yeah.
But red flag or deal breaker.
July me.
I haven't heard from him for a week, and I'm wondering if he's mad at me for ending things previously.
He's not mad at you.
I think he's just not that into you.
Right. He's just like, you're cool. But I think you should end it. I think you
I would
should
say
get
deal breaker, and she should end it.
Right.
Like, hey, this isn't really going how I thought it was going to go. I'm looking for something serious at this point. I know I wasn't before, but now I am. It doesn't seem like you're into that. So I think it's better that we go our separate ways. And then if he is who we think he is, he'll be like, wait.
He'll be back in November.
Yes, he will definitely be back, but he'll be the same.
Right. Let's do one more.
All right. Hi, J&J. Got a red flag or deal breaker for you. For me, the red flags are waving, but I'm forging ahead. Here we go. At least they're self-aware.
Go away! Turn around!
I'll be there in a minute. I matched with a guy on Hinge. He quickly asked me out. I'm thinking, yay, no pen pal. Then he says he could do a, quote, quick one on Tuesday. Wow. Thanks for squeezing me in. Okay. The flags are starting to wave, but I agree and continue with the plan. He suggests the Chase Lounge. I immediately go to Google Maps to check out this cool New York City lounge I've never heard of. Alas, it's not a cool New York City lounge. It's the Chase Sapphire Lounge. We're headed to the bank. It's not the bank. It's not the bank. But it is the...
It is the bank. Yeah.
Is this the one in South Street, like Seaport area?
I thought it was one in Times Square. It's like a high rise, right?
I think there's a couple.
I've seen the points guy does like a video on it.
So red flag or deal breaker, he suggests a quick rendezvous at the cardholder exclusive Chase Sapphire Lounge. He's a VIP there.
Right.
It's the poor man's Soho House.
It is a good way to be a part of a club.
Here's the thing. I'm not like that. I don't know. I wouldn't be hot. I wouldn't. It goes with his. I'll squeeze you in for a quick one.
It's weird to use the Chase Sapphire Lounge as like a date spot. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
It's weird.
That's
like
fair.
I like it. The only way this is not weird is if you guys had joked around about how much you love points and how you love your credit card
Right.
that you've chosen, which is a actual normal dating app conversation. Delta points. Like if I talked about Delta with a woman
Meet me at the Delta Lounge.
and she was like, I'm flying on Friday. I'm like, I am too. Date at the Delta Lounge. That'd be cute.
Right.
This
Without
is
context, it would be very weird.
It's weird. Without context, it's like, is this what you do? Like, do you think I'm
Right.
impressed by the Chase Sapphire card that anyone can fucking get? Like, it's not even
Do you
like
think
a
he's
black
trying
card.
to make it a flex?
I don't know what it is, but like the squeeze you in thing, like you don't want someone to talk like that.
Right.
I just
Squeeze
don't.
you in without saying squeeze you in.
Right. You don't have to say that.
Right.
And all of this squeeze you in kind of like gives me a window into the personality of someone who's like thinks they're a hot shot. Like,
Meet
does
me
he
at the
think
Chase
this is
Lounge?
right?
Right. Yeah.
Nothing is less hot shot than thing you think is a hot shot move that isn't a hot shot move.
Right.
I can get us into the Chase Sapphire Lounge, you know?
Hot.
Yeah, like
With your Chase Sapphire credit card, which is what, no fee?
right, the one I see commercials on every 5 minutes. Candace,
Oh wow. Okay.
we have an
This is
update.
great.
Oh, we love an update.
Yes.
I hope people listen to the end of these episodes. I feel like we get to our best stuff at the end. She
But-
went on the Sapphire Lounge
She
date?
emailed us the day before the date. At the very end of the email, she goes, "Date's tomorrow, and I'm gonna go. I'll let you guys know how it goes." And she didn't, so I emailed her.
Thank
to
you,
say,
Candace. You are
what happened?
wonderful. This is exactly what I wanted. And what did she? And she wrote back.
This is a pretty quick update. She says he canceled
She
45.
blew him in the Chase Sapphire Lounge.
He canceled 45 minutes before and was never heard from again.
Come on.
Couldn't squeeze her in. Just couldn't squeeze it.
That's the update?
Couldn't squeeze her. Beware.
Oh.
Beware of birthdays, holidays, the Chase Sapphire Lounge,
Right.
and anyone who says squeeze.
And growling bears.
yes.
Oh,
So she suggests the Chase
the
Sapphire Lounge.
bear's already growling.
Would you set up a first date at Soho House? Would you consider that to be flexing?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't.
I think that's a good idea. I think I'd be
right.
a little.
I think
turned
Meet
off
Me at
by
Soho
that.
House is like cheesy.
Yeah.
Or they would have to. It would have to come up again. They're a member. They've gone before.
Right.
Have I been
Yeah.
on a date? I have been on a date to Soho
A
House,
first
but
date?
I don't think it was a first date.
Yeah. I
It
agree.
doesn't
I think
sound
it's a
like
little,
something
it
I would
sounds
do.
a little douchey.
Right. The minute you're in a members club,
Right. Members Club for like
this Chase Sapphire Lounge, get out of here.
the poor man's Soho House.
Right? This is crazy. Oh.
I'll meet you in the special aisle of the supermarket. Where I
Right.
have 3 coupons. VIP.
I have a coffee punch card that's on its free latte.
I have a 2-for-1 Chipotle coupon.
I got a
know.
bunch of Monopoly squares that I got from the McDonald's Monopoly game with your name on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm pretty big time.
Come meet me in VIP of, I don't know, what's the lamest VIP section?
What would be, I guess, like, there's no, it'd have to be a club that, like, no one has gotten into.
Even that, I think, on a first date is very much like I'm trying to tell you that I'm important, which would be a turnoff to me.
Right. Well, we solved dating again.
We did it. Proud of us. We'll be back on Sunday with Sunday Special.
Boom.
Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candace Maniga. Edited by Belle Roman. Social media by Candace Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. VP of podcast is Chris Allen. And be sure to follow You Up at u.up.podcast.